Hello, design darlings. Welcome to another runway ready property designed and staged by Couture Designs LLC. Today, we have a really special guest who's going to talk to us about this project, Miss Jan Evelyn. So, Jan, why don't you introduce yourself and talk to us about what you do in the community?
Well, as you know, Denisha, I live here in the Brookland community. I practice law here, and I'm the CEO of a local nonprofit. We're a community group, and we have a three-pronged mission. Mission number one is to dramatically decrease the number of vacant and problem properties. Number two is to address blight, and number three is to create economic opportunity.
Excellent. What is the name of that organization?
That organization is Action Baybrook, and you can find us on the internet at www.actionbaybrook.org.
Excellent. I've been involved with some of your community events and things like that. You guys do a lot to really pull the community together, which is great.
Thank you. Yes, we do try, and thanks to your involvement and the rest of the team, we were able to create the Vacants to Homeowners team.
Yeah. Why don't you talk to us about the team?
The development team really came together well, I thought. We have a partner nonprofit, City of Refuge Baltimore, which is right here in Brookland. We had Marcella Correa, who is active in the real estate market and sort of helped us gauge what we might look at and what the options were. We had Marcus Hairston with Affinity Construction, obviously a knowledgeable company, a knowledgeable person who has a lot of experience with these kinds of properties. And then, of course, we had Home Couture, which was really necessary in making this project the final successful project that it was.
You talked about the youth workforce development. Talk a bit more about that.
Well, the youth workforce development team was pretty crucial to the early stages of this particular project. They really gave us a lot of capacity that we would have not otherwise had, and they saved us a lot of money. Because as part of their training, they were learning construction trades, they were learning what the inside of a house looks like, they were learning what happens when you take the plaster down.
Right.
So they were learning valuable skills, and we were saving some money on the renovation costs. So that was really helpful. And we also had the additional benefit, I thought, to the community because the young people came to realize that this is the kind of environment that drug users and drug dealers live in. And they very much said they don't want to live like this.
Right.
So I think that was really kind of a lesson for all of us. So that was extremely valuable, I thought. And these are primarily juniors and seniors in high school.
Nice.
So we're hopefully intercepting them and then connecting them directly into a productive family supporting job.
That's excellent. So talk to me a little bit more about some of our challenges with this property in particular.
There were a lot of challenges with this property. I know you're familiar with these kinds of properties. It was an old property, and that means there were no architects or building codes. So, for example, the support beam in the basement was not aligned under the support wall on the first or second floor. So we had to put additional supports in. And then, of course, what that created was the necessity to have not quite the open floor plan that we would have hoped. So now we had a big column. And so your challenge became then how to make that a feature and not a bug.
Right.
Which Home Couture did a great job. I mean, it's very much a feature and people are drawn to it. And they don't say, what is that big column doing in the middle of the living room? So that was really helpful. Also, as is often the case in old houses like this, we have no closets. So you had to figure out where to put closets and where to put the closets in light of where other things had to be moved, like the part of the vanity and the sink in the bathroom. And then there were also, for example, where we had to move things around in the basement to make consistent with that brand new supporting beam that we had to put in. And modern homeowners want more bathrooms. So we had to add bathrooms. This
Right.
house had 1 bathroom. It now has 2.5 bathrooms. So you had to figure out where to put those bathrooms. And we had originally thought, oh, one location would be particularly lovely here under the front stairs. Mm-hmm. The very problems that created the structural issues then required you to figure out where can we put that half bath now.
Right.
Which of course you did a really good job.
Thanks.
Also, we needed to make sure to keep the light in the house because it's an end unit, so we wanted to maximize that. And you did a great job putting the window into the back porch, which had a window, which then brought more light into the dining room. So that was, I thought, a great choice. And we originally had what was supposed to be an island in the kitchen, but once we had the structural issues, you created it into a peninsula, and it looked like it should have been there all along. So I thought there were just so many things that went so right thanks to your design in the house.
Thank you. And yeah, it was for me, it's a really fun challenge. It's like a big 3D jigsaw puzzle, that you have to make really pretty, right? And make it appealing. We know we wanted to do the open concept because that's what's really on trend and what homeowners are loving to see. So yeah, it was good to figure out creative solutions to open up the space and make it flow, keep the sight lines open, but at the same time, be strategic about how to create a bit of a facade, to hide the mechanics, so to speak. So thank you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That was absolutely crucial. And then, of course, once you walked us through lots of design changes that were necessary by things we were finding or
Right.
structural analysis or whatever, and you were able to just jump right in and make those changes, and then we were able to take those drawings right down and get the permits.
Yeah.
And that was pretty crucial, and we weren't spending $1 million on architects.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very cost effective, and your thinking tends to be really creative.
Yeah.
Creative, like focused. Okay, what would a homeowner want?
Right.
What are the trends? What do we, an architect just goes, oh, we need to put a wall here to hold that up.
Right.
That isn't your thinking.
Right.
Your thinking is far more creative, which is why it's so great to work with you, because you'll look at something and go, how the heck? And you go, well, let me think about that.
Right.
And bam, the solution comes up. So.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the fun part. We definitely do have architects on our team, and we pull them in as necessary. But if there are ways to get the work done, maybe work with an engineer to save the property owner costs, then we can certainly do that. And so we kind of have to, on a case by case basis, determine if that's a possibility. So I'm glad that worked out for us.
It did. Well, and as I don't think I mentioned earlier, it's very important to have those things because, especially in a property like this that's going to require so much renovation,
Right.
it's going to be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to sell it then for what you have to pay to renovate it.
Right.
So it's really important at the beginning to have a design that is cost effective and efficient, so you're not changing every 5 minutes because
Right.
that's expensive. And then at the end, to have a really desirable product.
Right. And as you got to witness, we use a 3D rendering process so that we get to actually see 2 and 3 different versions of the property virtually on a computer first, and then you get to pick and choose what you like. And this also helps us to understand, like you said, when those problems arise, how they will affect the actual end design and the actual layout at the end. We could kind of do a test run first with that 3D rendering process, and then make some decisions and save time and money as opposed to doing costly mistakes. Let's take that, we got to take the whole wall out now because it's too small, or something like that. So we have had a lot of success with that process with our clients.
Yeah, well, and it really gives the owner a much better feel than if you just say, hey, we're moving that wall over there and that over there and putting that over there.
Right. What's
You
that
know?
really going to feel
what-
like?
Right.
Yeah.
What's that going to look like when you walk in the front door?
Right.
And that system that you use is very helpful for that. It really helps you focus.
Right. Thank you. So, Jan, what were some of your favorite features of what we did with this property?
Well, my favorite features are what you were able to do with the fireplace, of course, which just kind of almost accidentally escaped going in the dumpster. And then the painting, the color scheme that you came up with, that I had no idea, and I might have been doubtful at first, but I trusted you, and it, of course, turned out great. And then the decor that goes along with that just brings it all of a piece. And all of the creative fixtures that you chose. So they're appealing to homeowners, they're trendy, they provide the right amount of light for the situation. So it really all fits well together. And I was particularly impressed with the staging you did in the basement. We were forced, as you know, due to our structural problems, to have a wall where we hadn't really anticipated having a wall. So it made sort of a moderately sized, smallish room, which no one would have had the slightest idea what to do with that. And we discussed, well, what could we do? And you came up with, I think, a great solution with the little table and some furnishings on the little table. And it just made it look like, oh, well, of course, that room was put there intentionally. And it really brought the whole basement together, even though there wasn't a lot of furnishing that you provided down there.
Right.
It was the perfect touch. So you saved us some money because we didn't have to do 10,000 items
Right.
down there. And you created exactly the right atmosphere for that space. So those are my favorites.
So would you work with Home Couture Designs again in the future on other projects?
Absolutely, I would work with Home Couture on all future projects. It's necessary not only just in the design phase to make sure that everything ends up in a way that a homeowner would like, but in the staging phase, it really makes a substantial difference in the offering price that people will offer for a property that's completed.